I will be as brief as I can given the time constraints. I have two roles up here. One is the launch of these three standards, one of which is for consultation, but my other, and I think equally important role, is to offer a vote of thanks to our speakers this morning. So if I may just touch on that first. I genuinely feel honoured to be sitting on the dais with the four speakers that we heard this morning. I think those of you who were unfortunate not to be here right at the beginning and may have taken a little admonishment from Mr. Nanda certainly missed out. We heard from Alan Collett from London on some of the major issues around the world, some issues around in the real estate sector in Europe, which of course is going through a completely different stage of growth to us here in India. We heard an extremely spirited talk from Mr. Nanda, and genuinely I think the hairs on my head were rising when he gave some of those stories and inspired people on how to deal with the problems that the real estate industry is impacted by here in India. He talked about trust, responsibility, and a return to the fundamentals, and that he called upon each one of us individually to look at our business and our industry in a socially responsible manner. A key takeaway for me, and I think should be for all of us, was his reference to the CAP score and the customer centricity. So Mr. Nanda, thank you very much for those thought-provoking and inspirational words. Certainly inspiring. Mr. Jain, I can identify with you. One of our businesses as a small developer in Bangalore. Mr. Jain represents many developers across India and made some comments about the real coalface interface that those developers are experiencing. He urged that we need, for 2020, in that time frame, we need reform of the electoral process, we need administrative reform, and we need, most of all, probably a mindset reform. He referred us to the mission transparency of CREDI, and I think we're all very supportive of that initiative, sir. And I think most importantly, and linked up to the role of the arts, resonated with me. And Mr. Hiranandani, that was an absolutely inspirational closing speech. Thank you very much indeed. I think the looking back to 1947 and the changes that have happened since then was thought-provoking. But inspirational is that in the 1970s, from such problems, within a short space of time, the food situation and other aspects of the Indian economy were transformed. So it can be done, and instead of us looking at what the problem is and consistently harping on about what can't be done, that was truly inspirational to hear what can be done, and that we as individuals need to step up and be part of that solution. I think the objective of housing for all by 2020 is one which RICS would certainly be very supportive to play its small part in that. So in closing on my thanks to four excellent speakers, I think we've been really, really fortunate to have these senior gentlemen here to speak to us. Thank you. The second part of my responsibility is to speak about the three publications that RICS are launching today. Many of you will have come across the Red Book for Valuation, and Sachin spoke about that in the sense that it underpins all financial decision-making, including bank lending, taxation, and financial reporting, which has been a pain area for many. RICS has a uniform valuation standard around the world, the Red Book. It's the gold standard in valuation worldwide, and RICS has launched the India edition of the Red Book, which covers all statutory applications in order to bring about uniformity in valuation practices in India. The second standard being introduced today for consultation and also links back to the measurement protocols that were alluded to by Mr. Jain and Credai, relates to the basis of measurement for buying and selling real estate of all varieties, residential as well as commercial. Internationally, there are accepted bases of measurement. Some of you will have heard of the BOMA standard. The RICS Code of Measuring Practice is well known, and RICS is taking this opportunity to introduce this code to India to seek consultation and to seek inputs and to seek coordination from interested parties and stakeholders, including Credai, so that it can be implemented as a national code of measurement in the times to come. And finally, RICS is launching its global real estate brokerage standards with a view to establish standards and guidelines and a code of practice for brokers in the industry. This is based on 12 high-level principles towards fairness and transparency. And I would say, as an added part to that, that is all part of the customer centricity. And Mr. Hiranandani's comments around the fact that TV media plays its part in the changing industry, I think we've seen how social media can influence that. And I'm absolutely certain that social media will drive more transparency and more consistency in our own industry in the residential area. On the issue of the real estate brokerage standards, I'm very pleased to announce that 4 firms have already adopted these standards in India, including CBRE South Asia, DTZ India, Colliers International and Remax India, and I understand that Jones Lang LaSalle and Cushman & Wakefield have also decided to support the implementation or institutionalization of these standards. This is an excellent, momentous occasion, and I would now request the dignitaries on the dais to kindly release these standards to the audience and media, and certainly I'm sure there'll be an opportunity for discussion and questions later in the day. Thank you.